What's up, guys? This is Peter Scarlett again from Team Volon Gaming. I know I said I'd only do 2 videos in this series, but this one I have some questions about too, because this video is a little closer to what we have now, and yet it's still different. All right, so let's get into this one. This one, Our World, My Story.
At the heart of Anthem is the concept of Our World, My Story. The unique combination of a dynamic, ever-changing world and a powerful personal story. In Our World, you band together with friends for epic adventures across a vast shared landscape.
Okay, so that was the first time they actually show off how different it is from the first video to where we are now. And even then, that map is still different. Look at that. What is that? What is this in front of us? Okay, different land, different platform. This is kind of like where we are now in Anthem after, you know, beta and launch. This is how the docking bay looks, but you still don't come out the door, unfortunately. That would be cool if you actually did. The Heart of Rage, you don't come out the door.
In Our World, you band together
You
with
take
friends.
off and bam, this is what we see now. So in the first video, it was hills and valleys. Fort Tarsis is up so high on top of a mountain that you can't even see where you actually land. It's just like a valley, you know, down to like a very small river, kind of like looking at the background of Monster Hunter's landscapes when you're like in the forest and hills and you're like, I wish I could go down there where that river is, but you can't. That's how Anthem's map looked in the first video. So seeing it now, you know, this is still a little bit after E3 or still around that area. This is how it looks now, but it looks completely different, even as you look at
Our World,
where they jump
you
off.
band together
Okay, that all this isn't
with
even the
friends.
same.
for epic
Even over here to the left, where you go to the Academy Ruins, looks different than it
adventures
did.
across a vast shared landscape teeming with danger. The world narrative advances for your whole team. Together, you'll confront countless enemies.
That looked like a volcano area, not the Heart of Rage.
Together, you'll
That is an actual volcano zone.
confront countless enemies. Those who threaten to take control of the Anthem, as well as ancient beasts. And
This Ursix looks like it did in the first video. It's darker. It's got this red nose, which is interesting.
you'll take control of the Anthem, as well as ancient
But that Ursix looks more like the first video
beasts.
than what we have now.
Further into our world by taking on explosive missions offered by agents who need your
I'm just not even going to say anything.
help. These missions take you deep into the heart of Anthem, while also developing the personal stories
Where is this scene?
of each agent.
Trust me, I'm a person you want to know.
Where is that scene?
Outside of the battles, there's free play, a chance for you to explore solo or with friends, uncover answers to your questions about Anthem, and find powerful artifacts that could lead you to victory down the road. Back within the safe.
Okay. Where the heck is this in Fort Tarsis? Where is this?
Safety of Fort Tarsis is where my story begins. This is your chance to
We all know
develop a
that
rich-
scene. We all know this scene. So they've at least gotten to going back into the Heart of Rage. Maybe.
richly personal narrative where your choices have consequences. In this bustling
Okay, this is a scene that's bothered me for a very long time, ever since E3, because I still want to know, when do we get to go in there? Isn't that like the Hall of the Lancers Guild or faction? Like, you know, it was open, you know, people could walk in. Even if you get into the game now, there's like an item that's right over here in this region that's like for lore that you can never get to.
trader town, you'll develop bonds with your pit crew.
Damn. That area Doesn't even look like that.
Bonds with your pit crew, who can help you prepare for future battles.
We see this in the second video, that mission that doesn't exist.
They're the people in the world who have your back. And as your relationships...
And they're using that cutscene again. So, pre-Heart of Rage, where we started off in the main storyline, you know, because where it starts us off in the game is at the Heart of Rage, but this footage is before the Heart of Rage.
Develop, you'll learn about their pasts and the future they hope to see. Fort Tarsis is ripe for exploration as well. You may even encounter...
Where is that? Where was that? Okay, where is this? Where is this angle from, and why doesn't it exist?
You may even encounter shadowy figures with questionable character. It all depends on the decisions you make.
Where is this? The narration she's giving is something very similar to Dragon Age Inquisition, which I've been alluding to this whole time, because that's what I thought this game was going to be like. But if you look at, like, if you think about the way BioWare is, the way that they're describing it is like another BioWare game. You know, this is like continuing the storyline, you know, like, you know, a lot like Dragon Age or a lot like Mass Effect, you know, interacting with characters and, you know, like think Mass Effect 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition, or Dragon Age 2. Actually, yeah, Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 and Mass Effect 2 is kind of what this is making me think of.
You make. This is real-time storytelling, a reinvention of...
And here, I got it at the right moment. So this is where you go to get Halleck and Faye back after the Heart of Rage. So like I said, like, this is post Heart of Rage now.
In a multiplayer game.
So it seems like they had it built up from you and the Lancers going through this timeline where you guys are riding, you know, on cloud 9. You guys haven't been defeated. You guys are like the heroes. You're the #1 team in all of the land. And then you hit that first failure of the Heart of Rage where it destroys the Lancers. They pretty much disband, and now you got to go get Halleck back. We know this scene because the scene is actually in game even today. But where's the other scene with you, Owen, Halleck, and Faye in the Strider?
As a freelancer, you are the bridge between the heroic adventures discovered in our world and the personal journey that unravels in my story. And ultimately, the key to the fate of everyone.
And where is that scene? This scene tells us that Halleck, after the defeat of the Heart of Rage, was like, I'm not going to say it, but, you know, like, I'm out. I'm done. You know, too many people died. I lost way too many people. I lost too many people that I cared about. We failed at that mission. We shouldn't have gone in. They should have listened to me. This is like the cutscene that tells you you failed. You know? Now get the team back together. This is in-game. Like, this should have been an in-game scene, like where like your character is monologuing, maybe, or maybe Halleck's talking to you. He's telling you what was going through his mind during the Heart of Rage, and you know, like how you guys had never actually experienced something that hard, or, you know, how you guys weren't ready and it was his fault. He was leading the charge. He should have known better, blah, blah, blah. Where is this scene? You know, it was rendered. It was done. Where is this scene?
The key to the fate of everyone.
Again, the Ursix looks different, like it did in the first video. And with that, that's another version of the game that's completely different. Where is this stuff? Like, it's the voice actors already did it.
As your relationships develop,
the scenes have been rendered. Rendered. These areas are here. Let me turn that off. These areas are here. These scenes have been rendered. Where the heck is that? And why isn't this in the game? Of course, this part is in the game. We've seen this part. There are certain scenes that are in the game that lead you to believe either those scenes weren't meant for that part. Like maybe the scenes that they're showing here, like with you talking to Faye, because I remember in the dialogue, you talk to her and like this is like her favorite spot. So maybe this part right here isn't after the Heart of Rage going to retrieve them. Maybe this is the part where pre-story they were having their doubts. Of course we'll never know, hope, unless Ben Irving or someone else from the team answers the questions. But this doesn't seem like how we played the story as it is now. This seems like this is like early game, where maybe they're having their doubts. Faye and Halleck are fighting, and even there, why isn't this open now? Why is this area blocked off? There's so many people that aren't in the city anymore that it leads you to believe that after the Heart of Rage, most people left Fort Tarsis because they felt like their lives were in danger. Like it all kind of builds up to where you can tell there's a lot missing from this game. Like I love the game. I'm not trying to like bash it or the people who are working on it now, the people who are working on it before, and we all know the issues that happened. It came to light, blah blah blah. I'm not retelling the story, but does this stuff exist? Like seriously, does this stuff exist? Like some of these scenes, like even this scene, that scene seems slightly different, like as if he's going to her for help, like, hey, we need the extra firepower to go to the Heart of Rage, not, hey, we need to go get Halleck back because we need to go take on the Heart of Rage again. This is like, we took it on the first time, we're getting ready to take it on for the first time and we're failing, and then this area where you're going through, that looks like that part in the story where I forgot, where you need to go get the stuff from Owen because Owen steals the suit, you know what I'm talking about. But this seems like that area, but even still, like, just stuff is different. Like stuff is just different. Like the Earth 6 is different. There's two of them there actually. They're a lot darker than they are in game. I don't know. Like something tells me that they made more changes to the game towards the beta than we're led to believe. And I'm not trying to throw a conspiracy into the air or anything like that. I'm just trying to say, like, this game was altered greatly over the course of time, where like just a lot of stuff was just taken out, and it makes me wonder, like, why was so much taken out? Like if you see this stuff right here, this is all like post gameplay demo and running the alpha and stuff like that. This stuff is already in game. Either it's locked or it's hidden or they just full out removed it. Like, what happened to most of this content? And why was there a shift? Like, it seems like there's more to the story behind the scenes of Anthem than just what we were given, what was dug up, what was answered. It seems like there's way more to the story. But this is like kind of why I love video games, because I love asking those questions, like what happened, what happened in the time before we started playing, what's the prelude, or how do these characters know each other, blah, blah, blah. Like, I personally love that stuff because it's a part of the lore. It's a part of like the immersion. It's a part of, being in the world space and stuff like that. But to me, it seems like there were a lot of changes made to this game where it actually could have been more playable than what it was before launch, but they were taking stuff out or hiding stuff, like we all know, like Bethesda does that. you know, with Elder Scrolls. Like they have a whole bunch of stuff in, like a whole bunch of dialogue recorded, a whole bunch of missions and cutscenes, or well, not cutscenes, but a whole bunch of missions and dialogue for the game that never make it into the game, and it's just sitting there in gray code, and it's up to the modders to uncover it and unlock it and stuff like that, blah blah blah. It seems like that's happening with Anthem, where there's just a bunch of stuff that's not in game, even down to where the map looks completely different. Like I was saying before, when we got to that part, you know, this is not the same map that we have. What the heck is this? Like coming through the middle. What is that? What is this? It looks like you can fly through it. Like it leads you up to like a platform or something, or like to some area that you could, you know, travel to. But that's not in game anymore. So what happened to that? Was that a part of a mission, or was that part of a stronghold? Was that a part of pre-Heart of Rage content? You know, like where did this stuff go? Of course, like I said, stuff gets changed during game development. Stuff gets taken out. Maybe stuff doesn't fit. But it seems like Anthem was a better game by my, you know, perception during alpha than it was when it got to the beta. You know, whatever happened with people leaving, you know, we don't know. Of course, you know, maybe the old team and the team leaders that were working at BioWare before they left and started their own studio, maybe they took their assets with them. Maybe they were like, you know, EA, screw you, I'm taking this stuff out of Anthem. You know, you're not getting this from me for free. You know, maybe they did and maybe they didn't, who knows. But it's kind of weird that there's like a whole bunch of stuff that's missing, even just basic stuff, like small stuff. Like look at the scaling of the map as they're flying around, and it's like, okay, that's closer to where we are now, where stuff is really small compared to the first video, you know, where like trees were really big and, you know, thick, you know, like these are like scrawny trees and plants and leaves and stuff. It's less sci-fi and more realistic. You know, what happened to the sci-fi part of this game? I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, because I could do this for days. If I find another video, I might upload it. but I'm just posing that question. Like, for this one, this isn't the question of would you play it or would you rather play it. This one's more like, what happened to that content? Like, I've been saying it in each video, but this one I'm actually just gonna straight out say it. What happened to all this content? What happened to these rendered cutscenes? What happened to the dialogue? What happened to the altered missions, like in the second video? You know, what happened to the interaction amongst enemies, like in the first video? You know, like where did it go? Why was it removed? Where was it hidden? Why were these changes made so drastically to where it's different games? You know, what version of these games were they? You know, as we know, like there were multiple differences of the game where you could fly and you couldn't fly, and then they were like, you know, they were constantly changing the game itself. But what happened to those parts? It seems like they designed a lot of good things and a lot of cool things, and then was just like, you know what, forget it, let's just take it out. Nah, no one's gonna like it. But now I'm more interested in the stuff that I don't have, because I think this would benefit the game. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the only person that cares. Like I've said multiple times, I'm kind of in a bad place when it comes to Anthem, because it's the only exosuit game that we really have on the market, where you get to fly around, hover and shoot and do melee. And, you know, it has a great base, it has great potential, which a lot of people have said. But to me, it's just, this is the game I've always wanted. Not the way it is now, but like the concept of the game. And you know, open world games, his channel, he does a lot of good like dialogue where he's like talking about things and, you know, updating people, but he also gives a lot of good opinions about things. And I wanted to like throw that out there. Like, open world games covers this game very well, and almost at a near biased state. But for me, it's just like, it's like I'm gonna keep playing this game regardless, because it's the only thing on the market. You know, some indie developer wanted to take this game and make their own version, they would do amazing. You know, like if anybody was to copy this, let's say we get another like PUBG incident with Fortnite where someone else, let's say I can't even think of their name, the people who used to work at From Software on the Armored Core division, they started up their own studio to make Daemon X Machina. Like if they were to take what they have, you know, with Daemon X Machina and the Armored Core animations and stuff like that, everything that they know about like mechs, and they were to turn it into something like this where you're in an exosuit, you know, kind of like Armored Core 5-ish, but just on a smaller scale and more like Destiny 1, with the RPG style of game that they have in Daemon X Machina, they would absolutely destroy Anthem. Like it would take over the market. Like it would be the game that we wanted per se. It wouldn't be the exact game because it wouldn't be Anthem, but you know, they would be able to completely destroy Anthem because they already know how to do mechs. They already know how to do shooters. You know, they already know how to do hovering and flying. They just need to do like open world and stuff like that, and then like bam, they would have their own version of Anthem and kill the market. You know, like that's all it would take is for someone else to make Anthem, their own version of Anthem, just exosuits, customizable parts, drops, open world, character development, character creation and customization. You know, of course, the dialogue between characters, or if they just want to do like the JRPG style and just do it all just as like type dialogue, I would take that too. But this game could be easily remade way better, you know, if you have the time and you have the knowledge of the animations and the level design and the terrain. You know, I'm not saying it would be like a walk in a park, like, hey, in 3 months, you know, like what Fortnite did to PUBG. I'm not saying it would be like something overnight where it'd be like, hey, we can make that, we already have that, let's just do it. But if anybody else was to take a stab at making a game like Anthem, I would love it personally. Like from my heart, I would love it because there aren't too many games like this on the market at all. You know, who knows when we're going to get another Armored Core? Who knows when we're going to get Daemon X Machina? We haven't gotten a new Zoids game in I don't know how long. Like that new Zoids Wild game never came out, to my knowledge. Left Alive was not Front Mission. You know, there's not going to be a Titanfall 3 from what we know. It's sad. It makes me very depressed as a mech lover and as a person who designed this channel around mech games and exosuit type of humanoid robotics. The lack of content just sucks. You know, every time we get something good like a Gundam game, for example, it dies out quick. You know, you look at what was it, Gundam Breaker, the new one. Man, that game tanked so fast. You know, even when it came out on PC, it was like, why would I play this? You know, we had Gundam Versus, which was a great game. I still love it to this day, but it died so fast. I didn't even get to finish making videos for the entire roster. Like that game just died and there was no turning back. Like it seems like they just gave up on the game. Like, hey, we did this content. You know, we got the game all the way up to Evo. We're done. And it's like, man, can we get some good, you know, sci-fi games? You know, like Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be pretty good, and we all know what happened there. And it's just like, man, what's going on? Like if you get a good mech game that's completed, it's probably like cartoony or arcade-ish. You know, like no disrespect to those games, but it's just like, I want something like Armored Core. I want something like Front Mission. I want something like Anthem. I want something like Destiny 1. I want something like Dragon Age 2 or Mass Effect 2. I want something where it's like, it's got great dialogue, great stories, great characters, great character development, but also it has the sci-fi tech mech exosuit stuff that I love. all into one, and that's not really that hard to come up with an idea for. If I could develop it myself, I sure would, but yeah, I don't have the patience to learn Unreal like that. I hate to say it like that. I mean, the way the gaming industry is now, if you want something done, it's better to just do it yourself. But I don't have the time to sacrifice to do that by myself, which is very sad because it kills me inside. But enough of my sadness. I'm out. And maybe there'll be another video on this topic. Maybe there won't. Who knows? I'll keep searching, but I doubt. Well, there's a full trailer right there. I'm not even going to get into that. See y'all later. Peace.